Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and I heard some criticism from one of my viewers about the little legs. I wanted to show you this so you guys can see this. I'm heavy into frogs, and somebody found this at a rummage sale and gave it to me. I don't remember who it was, but they gave me this. There you go. I'm going to put it up here for now. That way it doesn't bug anybody. But it was at a rummage sale. They picked it up. They said, it's a frog. Here you go. Okay. But that was a long time ago. And yeah. Anyway, what's the deal with the hat? Well, I'm going to tell you what the deal with the hat is. Guess what today is? It's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Yes. It's happy birthday to me. That is what it is. So there you go. There you have it. Now you know. So anyway, top of the evening to you. I wanted to extend a special thank you to all those wonderful people on Facebook. I'm going to post this up on Facebook tonight, and I'm going to tell them to watch the very beginning of it. I wanted to give a special thanks to every person on Facebook that wished me a happy birthday today. It was really nice. It was really wonderful. I will tell you, though, that when it comes to these corporations, they actually beat every single one of you to wish me a happy birthday. And that includes TrackPhone, Golden Corral, and a few other companies that actually wished me a happy birthday before my friends did. But, you know, that's companies for you. I guess if you give them a ton of money, they're going to make sure you celebrate your birthday. Anyway, just thought it'd be a little funny to say, yeah, you're like, wait a minute, that's your New Year's hat. Well, you know what? It's a birthday. I don't have any other hats, so happy birthday to me. Okay, so we are celebrating tonight. But anyway, I appreciate all the birthday greetings. It's wonderful. I thank you very much. It was great. Just want to let you know that the companies got there before you did. Anyway, I'm just being silly for tonight. So, anyway, what do I got in mind tonight? Well, even though it is my birthday, I'm giving you the presents. You're like, wait a minute. How does that work? What, you're the birthday kid and you give away the presents? Yep. Last night I had a steak dinner, so I was well taken care of for my birthday. But anyway, I'm going to take this off. It's hotter than blue blazes. It was nice. But it is my birthday, and I'm giving you the presents because I'm going to give you some education, as usual. But before I begin, I wanted to let you guys know that, first of all, Patreon has released a new feature. Unfortunately, it's not a free feature. If it was a free feature, it'd be great. It'd be fantastic, but it's not free. And that's the problem. Eventually, it might become free, but it is not free right now. For those of us who are on Patreon, and I do have a Patreon account, if you are curious about that, let me know, and I will either let me know in this live stream or let me know in the comments below after the live stream is over with, and I will send you a link to my Patreon. Okay? But they are now allowing people to upload a limited amount of videos onto their Patreon, so when you're subscribing to the person you're subscribing to, you can actually watch these videos that you can't see anywhere else. There are no commercials on them, a whole 9 yards. You get the idea, you get the picture. Okay. So, anyway, I would post videos on Patreon. I would. But the thing is, one, from what I understand, you have to pay for it. And I'm just not going to pay money for that. Secondly, I just don't think a lot of you guys would watch. I know some of you would, but a lot of you probably wouldn't. And if I'm not going to get a big viewership over there on Patreon, I'm not going to load up a ton of videos. I can load up a ton of audios for you guys. And definitely I can load up a ton of text. But videos? Yeah. If I get more interest in my YouTube channel, I'll definitely do it. But right now, I'm not, that's just not going to be my thing. The main thing about it is that if I ever did load stuff to Patreon, it would not be like what we load here. I might, like, for a month or two, put a video up there that I would eventually put down here. Okay, so it'd be kind of a sneak preview to guys. But the main thing I would load over there would be subjects that you don't really necessarily need to get a job. Remember, this is the channel of people facing eviction, starvation, and bullyism. So people facing eviction, starvation, and bullyism probably aren't going to have a whole lot of money. So putting all my stuff over there on Patreon probably would not be the best idea for all of you. But the idea is that if you could get out of eviction, starvation, and bullyism, and you want to advance to something even more, then you could pay me a couple bucks and I could teach you things that would advance your education further. Okay? Because I still have no problem teaching calculus here. I have no problem teaching you guys the FASBs, those Financial Accounting Standard Board things. I have no problem teaching you guys Italian. I have no problem with that. But I would like to do more of the Kindle books, and that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. There will be a second Did You Remember Everything? I've been working on it, and eventually it will come out. And I will eventually finish PTCB on a Budget. I want to get both of them published. If not this year, next year, whenever I get a chance to do that. And that's just the whole thing. Right now, I'm on a mini vacation, okay? I've taken a couple of days off, and that's why I call it a mini vacation. I don't have a full-blown vacation, but I took a couple of days off to celebrate my birthday. And that's all fine and dandy. But I don't normally get chances like this. You say, well, wait a minute. Don't you have situations where your hours go down a little bit certain times of the year? Well, that's true. They do go down a little bit, especially this time of the year. But that's only temporary. It means there's a short window where I could do other things, but then if people call in sick or, staff changes, whatever, I'm back to work. So this is just kind of a temporary reprieve. I don't know whether I'm going to have shorter hours or longer hours. That's why I can't predict when I'm going to do a live stream, because I never know if I'm going to have that time off or not. This time I do. I do have an announcement, though. I do have an announcement for you guys. For those of you who want to become a trained storm spotter for the National Weather Service, there is a storm spotter class coming up in Decatur, Illinois on March the 8th. I will be there. I will get my training. I'll get my certification. You just go into this class. They talk to you for 3 hours. They tell you a whole bunch of stuff. And then after that, they give you this little certificate. And you're a trained storm spotter for up to 2 years. So you can go in and do it. So if you guys want to be trained storm spotters, I highly recommend that you go do this. Okay? So, now that I've announced that, and I've also told you guys about the new Patreon video feature, which, by the way, if you guys start really getting interested in me posting extracurricular videos onto YouTube, not YouTube, but onto Patreon, I'd be happy to do it. But you've got to show some financial interest in this, or I'm not going to do anything. I'll just let it go on. Okay? And yes, I have a Bumblebee eraser. Well, actually, it's not an eraser, it's a keychain. I have a Bumblebee keychain right here. If you know anything about the Transformers, you know what Bumblebee is. Let's go on, shall we? Anyway, I have another announcement. It is about ATSC 3.0. They have a new USB device that they're developing right at this very moment. And once it's released to the public, it's going to be about $75 to buy. And this would be it would be hooked up to your TV, and people would be able to transmit. See what I mean? And so your TV stations will be coming in a lot clearer. The signals will get a lot better, but the devices have not yet been released. As soon as they are, I will let you know. Okay? So anyway, so now I've told you about ATSC 3.0. I've told you about Patreon. I've told you about my birthday, obviously, and I've also told you a couple other things. I will also tell you this. For those of you who have those old-time set-top cable boxes, I wanted to let you guys know that there are cable companies right now. There's smaller ones right now, but soon the bigger ones are going to participate as well. Those cable boxes are going to disappear. So if you don't have a Roku yet, I suggest you get one, or an Amazon Fire Stick, or get one from your cable company. I know the Comcast offers this Flex. Whatever, get it, have it hooked up onto your TV, because after a while, there will not be a cable company set-top box in your house. That's just not going to happen. So there you go, and there you have it. I also have yet another announcement. It involves this book, Math Doesn't Suck, okay? Later on in this presentation, I am going to tell you guys a little extra bonus about this, okay? And as soon as you find out, you're like, what the? You mean to tell me you're going to get... Yes, I have a summer reading project, and I'm going to give that to you. I also wanted to let you know that I'm going to review the very first episode of the new Night Court. That's right, that's coming up tonight as well. We are going to be talking about molten salt batteries tonight. So that's coming up. And also, I'm going to review a couple songs. I am also going to review a couple of videos, one from Survival on a Budget Made Easy. I'm also going to review a song. Well, I'm gonna review some songs. Survival on a Budget Made Easy had a video. I'm going to review that. The Beautiful Golden Hour, I'm going to review one of her videos. I'm going to review a video from Roman King. And I'm also going to review a video from Valerie Reese. So all that's coming up. I wanted to discuss with you guys tonight one other thing before we go on here. Hang on. Oh, another announcement. In the next month or two, depending on my free time, I am going to make another video for the Samsung smartphone tutorial. Okay. I wanted to go ahead and apologize for not reviewing the John Lennon song Imagine. That is going to come up too. But I wanted to let you know that there will be a part 8 on the Samsung smartphone tutorial video series. There's going to be a part 8 to that. So it's coming. Bear with me. It's on its way. Anyway, let's talk about YouTube for just a minute. I'm just a little slow here. Okay, here we go. So, what's going on? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on here, because you need to know this. Let's see. Let's go to the analytics for just a minute. So, I know that YouTube is offering up a survey, and I will participate in that survey very, very soon. But I wanted to let you guys know what's been going on with my channel. I made a video back in 2013 called Adding Minutes to a Prepaid Cellular Telephone. And not that long ago, I actually put a little extra on that title of that video and said, please read description box. Obviously, a lot of people who have actually seen this video never read the description box, because they would have gone to my Samsung smartphone tutorial series. They didn't do that. I don't know why, but they didn't. It is by far the most popular video that I have on this YouTube channel. Another very popular video I have is hyphen and underscore. Not hyphen and underscore etymology and update. We're talking the original hyphen underscore that I published back in July of 2009. And, you know, you would think that they would go to parenthesis, brackets, and braces, or they would go to scroll lock or some other video like that. They don't. I don't know why. And they don't read the description box of that video either. So there you go. Another thing I wanted to mention tonight before I get too heavy into all this is that my anniversary on YouTube is coming up. As of the beginning of March, I'll have been on YouTube for 14 years. That's a long time. Next year is going to be the 15th year, and I will be putting a video up here to celebrate that as well. And once again, I'll be wearing the hat. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys, and give me just a second here. I got to get something to drink. Another set of videos that's really popular on my channel, and I still don't know why. For those of you who have been with me for a very long time, you do remember when I had a discussion with an Andrew Wyatt about the Minnesota marijuana research study. And I had done videos about the psychological tests behind that study. And I published those. They were published around March of 2014. March of 2014. And they are some of my highest rated videos, which amazes me. Another set of videos that seem to be very, very popular is my flowcharting videos. They seem to be popular too. But that's just basically the point. Another video that's very, very popular is SDRAM versus DDRRAM. And I really need to change the title of that so that the guys will know, and I will do that very, very soon, to tell them to actually go to the other video and watch that, because it's far more extensive than that thing ever was. But they don't go on to the next one. And I know a lot of people, they watch TikTok nowadays, which if you want to promote short attention spans, just watch that TikTok. I'm not going to ever go on TikTok. There's no way you'd ever get me on that dang thing. I might try to do some YouTube shorts, but I just don't really want to promote short attention spans. I really don't. So that's why I don't do it. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and take a look here. Still have nobody in here at the moment. But I want to tell you some of the stuff. You're like, wait a minute, none of your other videos get watched? Not really. No, not really. My RF modulator video gets watched. My track phone customer service videos get watched quite a bit. But you go down here, you got your correct or circumflex and number of pound sign and pause break. And of course, another video that gets a lot of responses is the Texas two-step winner. But you have to keep in mind something. There are two ways that a YouTube channel becomes more popular. Number one, if the watch time increases. Number two, if people leave comments on your video. And I had some people leaving comments to me, and it was nice that they did that. One of them wanted to know where the Dixie truck stop was in one of my Route 66 videos. So I sent him another video so he could see where that one was at. And then another sent me, was talking to me and told me that there had been no comments on a video that was about 10 years old. And he's right. There's no comments on that thing. Well, there is now, but there wasn't. And now it has comments, so therefore it'll probably be a little more popular. But this is what's going on in my videos. They're just... Now, I will tell you, here's another thing I need to tell you guys, because all this information is important. YouTube is switching their focus on their videos from thumbnails to video introductions. So what happens is people start, have you ever seen it on YouTube when you have it on the TV? Okay, you have your Roku device, you have your YouTube app, and you click it on, and when you highlight one of the videos, it plays a short introduction to that video. Well, now YouTube is asking creators like me to actually create stimulating introductions to videos, because the kids will take a look at the thumbnails, they're not believing the thumbnails, so they'll hover over this dang thing to see if the video is corresponding to the thumbnail. If it is, they continue to watch. If not, they probably will go away. And so, not in this particular video, but in future videos, I'm going to incorporate this strategy. You are going to see it with Math Doesn't Suck. I am going to show you that. But in other videos, I'm going to, especially my music reviews, I'm going to actually hold up the CD case so you guys can actually see. I've got a lot of CD cases from a lot of artists that I've had over the years. I still got their CDs, by the way. And you can actually see that. And then you've seen that with some of my thumbnails. I'll just hold it up in the introduction of the video and say, this is what this is. And there you go. I would do it in this video, but I just simply did not have the time to fetch out all of the CD cases that I need to do that. But that time is coming, okay? Anyway, so I've covered a lot of material already, and we haven't even got to the meat and potatoes of this video. So the thing is that what I need from you guys, and this is how I had originally set this YouTube channel up from the very beginning. And since we're nearing the 14th anniversary, and I don't know if I'm going to be off during the 14th anniversary of my YouTube channel, so that's why I wanted to cover it tonight. I had originally designed this channel so that you guys, when you were facing eviction, starvation, bullyism, you learn a lot of stuff, you go get a halfway decent job. After that, you would financially support me while I taught you more advanced courses so that therefore you could advance in your career. I'd make a little money off of that, but you would actually advance in your career. I'd like to teach you medical terminology. I'd like to write the book Latin Your English Dictionary. I would like to write the book What's Square in a Straight Line because of Euclid Book 10, etc., etc. But I can't do any of this because I don't have the funding. And these projects take not only books, some I have, some I don't, but also I have to have time off to do it. And as you have now found out, I don't always have that kind of time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I do, I take advantage of it. If I don't, there's nothing more I can do. So if you want these projects to go on, you got to help me out here. Okay? So for those of you who are right now in eviction, starvation, or bullyism mode, don't even worry about it. That message is not for you. I'm talking to the ones that have already advanced your career to some degree. Support me on Patreon, and I will continue and make this even better. And that's my whole point. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you would like to see videos on Patreon and financial support me to make those videos, like I said, I'd like to make medical terminology, Latin Your English Dictionary. I would love to continue my Italian lessons. And I could do a sneak preview over there before I go release it over here and delete it off of there. And then, you can see over here, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to do all that. But I need time and I need books. And I can't get these things without you. So that's where I stand right now. I'm going to continue this. This YouTube channel is not shutting down anytime soon. I'm going to continue right on. But I just need you to hear that. So. Whew. Well, we have videos tonight. Let's see if we can get those ratings up. Okay. I probably should let Survival on a Budget Made Easy know. Before I go into the meat and the potatoes of this particular presentation. But wow. Let's see. Come on. This computer's slow. There it is. Okay. All right, well, I'll let him know. I'm sure that crazy Josh Craby will figure it out. Doesn't matter. Point is, let's get on with the show. And ha 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 ha! I got my dry erase board. I got some markers over here. We'll just go ahead with this. Oh, no. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. Just going to check one more time. Nobody's here yet. If anybody comes into this room tonight, let me know, because I'm not a psychic. I don't know who you are until you tell me. Okay, let's just go into this, shall we? In this video, I'm going to cover the, boy, that didn't go well at all. Oh, God. Okay. Let's try that one more time. I need to turn the camera on just a pinch. There, that's much better. Okay. Now we're doing better. In this video, I'm going... Oh, boy. Let's try it differently. I just don't like how I did it. Okay. What can I say? I'm picky. All right, here we go. That's better. Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to cover the battery topic of dendrite. Okay, so let's begin by explaining to you guys what a dendrite is and why it is so important to batteries. Okay, this particular word comes from the Greek word dendrites, which means something that is related to a tree. In the case of minerals, it means some structure that is produced on or inside a mineral. When it comes to batteries, these dendrites form in the electrolyte of batteries. When these dendrites form, they puncture the material that is supposed to separate the electrodes of the battery. When this happens, the battery no longer functions properly. It ceases to store electricity, and in some cases, depending on what kind of battery you've got, it could cause the battery to catch on fire. And that's something you don't want in your house. This has become a huge problem with current lithium battery technology. That is one reason why many battery companies are searching for ways to keep these dendrites from growing in batteries. Now, I would love to stop there, but there is more than one term that I need to explain to you guys when it comes to batteries, and this is very important. So, what's the next term I'm going to explain to you? The next term is called chalcogen. Okay, and if I mispronounced it, I am sorry, but that is how it is written. Chalcogen. And you can look at the title of this video and you can see that for yourself. Never mind. In the periodic table of chemistry, any element that contains similar compounds are grouped together. The columns of the periodic table are called groups. The 16th group of elements are called chalcogens. The first element in the 16th column is oxygen. The second element in the 16th column is called sulfur. Sulfur has a similar electron configuration to oxygen. That's why they are in the same column on the periodic table. What does this information have to do with battery technology? Well, I'm going to tell you about that in a future video, so hang in there. All right, another term I need to explore with you guys is a term called kinetics. Now, if you're thinking I'm going to give a long-winded description of kinetics in this particular video, you're wrong. I'm just going to introduce the term to you because you need to know it. This field of chemistry involves the process of chemical substances transforming into other chemical substances and how fast these transformations occur. Okay. Another term you need to know is oxidation. Oxidation works like this. Let's say you have an element like iodine. This iodine has 7 electrons. If an electron in the iodine is transferred to another element, then the process of transferring the electrons from iodine to something else is called oxidation. Okay? Now, the object receiving the electrons, you have an element, it's receiving electrons. The process of it receiving electrons is called valence. Okay, another term you need to know is substrate. The etymology of the word substrate is as follows. The Latin prefix sub means under, as in submarine. And the Latin verb sternere means to stretch something out. Okay, something stretchy. In this case, it means some substance that is under another substance, probably either within or just directly underneath, like in layers, like you'd find in a sandwich, layers in a sandwich. Get the idea? Okay. The last word we're going to explore in here real briefly is polarize. This particular word comes from the Latin word polus, which means the end of an axis. Now, anybody that knows anything about how the Earth rotates knows that the Earth rotates on an axis. The end of that axis would be called a polus. This is where you get the polar vortexes, and you get the two poles of the Earth. You have the one at the Arctic Circle, you have the one at Antarctica. You get the idea. Okay. In the case of batteries, this refers to an increase in resistance of an electrolyte cell. Okay. That's all I've got for this particular video. Now you're getting a massive vocabulary lesson. You probably learned a lot. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Still nobody here. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure you guys will all catch up. All right. Let's continue. Oh boy, that did not go well at all. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted, the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to cover the subject of molten salt batteries. Okay. The first thing I want you to focus on, or the one thing I will focus on in this particular video, is why this battery was constructed. Do you recall a video I recently uploaded where I discussed dendrites? For those of you who have been on my live stream, you know that was the last video I did. But anyway, if you're not on my live stream, you know I just did a video recently about dendrites. These dendrites can gradually degrade lithium batteries. That is true. They can even cause lithium batteries to ignite if enough of these dendrites collect inside the electrolyte of a lithium battery. That's why some companies are experimenting with molten salt batteries. The electrolyte of these batteries is comprised of a compound that contains sodium chloride. What is sodium chloride? At first, this chemical sounds ominous, but you may have a large quantity of this compound in your kitchen. Why do I say that? Because this compound happens to be table salt. Like, wait, what? Sodium chloride is actually table salt? Yep. I should have known that. You could buy that for less than $5. So you're like, wait a minute, what? What is in table salt? Well, obviously there is sodium in this compound. What other chemical, well, whatever, what other substances are in this compound, this sodium chloride? Well, another material that can be found in this compound is chloride. But chloride should not be confused with chlorine. Actually, chloride is created when an extra electron attaches itself to a chlorine atom. So if you have a chlorine atom and you attach another electron to it, it becomes chloride. Then the chloride attaches itself to other atoms like sodium to form compounds. Hence the name sodium chloride. But molten salt is comprised of more than just one compound. Another compound in molten salt is potassium chloride. So you got your sodium chloride and your potassium chloride. So you got lots and lots of chloride, okay? Although potassium chloride is used as rock salt to melt ice in the wintertime, it can also be used in agriculture to process food. You can look this up for yourself. If used properly, it can lower a person's blood pressure. If used improperly, it could be perilous to use, if you get my meaning. Now, molten salt contains sodium chloride, potassium chloride, but it contains something else as well. The other compound is aluminum chloride. You're like, oh man, another batch of chloride? Yep. And yes, I'm referring to the aluminum that you would find in aluminum foil. Now, this whole discussion leads to a discussion of Michael Faraday. And I know you're like, oh no, he's going to talk about a guy named Michael Faraday. No, really, I'm not. I'm going to let you research that, okay? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the history of Michael Faraday. Maybe I will in a future video if you ask me to, but right now that's not exactly what I have in mind. But I will bring up the topic of the Faradaic exchange current. What the heck is a Faradaic exchange current? When electrons travel from one electrode to another, this process is called a Faradaic exchange current. That's from what I understand. If I'm wrong, you're more than welcome to correct me. A high Faradaic exchange current is a current where electrons are moving very quickly from one electrode to another, as far as I know. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments down below. These molten salt batteries possess a positive elemental chalcogen electrode. Other batteries possess a low-capacity compound formulation electrode. These molten salt batteries lower the chances of dendrites forming on the aluminum electrode and ruining the battery. And in the description of this particular video, you will find a link that will take you to an article that will discuss molten salt batteries in greater detail. So feel free to look that up for yourself. I want to thank you very much for watching this particular presentation. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay, folks, how am I doing? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Whew. All right. The only good thing about tonight's presentation is it won't be as long as the one I did the last time. And if I come up with something to tell you guys, I'll definitely do it. But just bear with me. Now, before I start this next video, I wanted to say that there was a guy, he actually sent me a video, and I'm sure he'll leave a comment or something like that. That was a video response to a video that I did a long time ago called the LPC, ISA, and PCI bus video. The names I got all correct. Unfortunately, the details beyond that I didn't get well. They were bad. They were just downright bad. I'm going to leave that video up there, and I told him the same thing for one reason and only one reason: to see if these people will be smart enough to read the title of the video, read the description of the video, and go to the video that I'm going to produce now. And hopefully I will do a much better job this time than I did the last time. Now, this will be the first of 3 videos that I will put up that will further explain and go deeper in depth with LPC, ISA, and PCI. And the video tonight will be ISA. Okay? And hopefully I'll do a better job than I did the last time. That's my hope. Okay, let's do this. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to start a 3-part video series explaining the ISA bus. The next video will be the PCI bus, and then the last video will be about the LPC bus. Okay, but before I do, I wanted to let you guys know that I have 5 Kindle books. And if you're interested in buying any of those books, leave me a message in the comments below, and I'll send you a link to my most recent one. You can read that, and then you can read the other ones. Okay? So, without any further ado, let's get into this. In the early days of computers, there were no sound cards, graphic cards, or even extra slots for RAM. As a matter of fact, a real computer in the early days of computers didn't even have a monitor or a keyboard. Okay, they were just simply boxes that were connected to dumb terminals with very large wires. I know this for a fact because I used to use a dumb terminal to program an NCR mainframe. And that NCR mainframe was in one room and the dumb terminals were in another. And I got to see the NCR mainframe just one time before I got out of high school. That should tell you something. All right. Now, when I was in high school, not only did I use this NCR mainframe and program it, but I also used a Tandy Radio Shack 80 computer. Now, if you know anything about Tandy Radio Shack 80 computers, you know kind of a junk heap that thing is. Now, I was also introduced just before I got out of high school to a Tandy 1000, but the TRS-80s were the ones that I used first. And they were clunky, and it was terrible, and it was awful. And we won't get into that. Okay, now, the TRS-80 had slots for RAM sticks. That's true. But the keyboard and monitor were attached to the motherboard with these special wires. There was no slots or nothing for these things. You just attached it with these ugly wires, and that was that. If the keyboard or the monitor stopped functioning on a TRS-80, you had to send that thing in for massive repairs, or worse yet, if they were truly malfunctioning, you had to get a whole new TRS-80, and that was awful. Yeah, you would either have to replace the whole motherboard or just flat out replace the whole computer, and that was terrible. You didn't want to do any of that. But that was the way computers were way back in the day. But this horrible computer situation changed when IBM released their first personal computer. How did the situation change? Well, before I tell you the answer to this question, I have to introduce you to the etymology of the word peripheral. What is a peripheral? Well, the etymology of the word peripheral comes from the Greek word peri, which means around, and the Greek word for P-H-E-R-E-I-N, and I will put that in the description box, and you can see that for yourself. But that particular Greek word means to carry. Okay, this word was originally a geometric term. Okay, because you'd be literally carrying things around. Okay, And that should sound familiar to you if you're one of those people who watched all of my Euclid videos. How does the word peripheral apply to computers? Well, a peripheral computer is a device. A peripheral computer device either sends information from a computer user to a computer, or it sends information from a computer to a computer user. Okay? Basically, a peripheral device is a computer input-output device. Your mouse, your keyboard, your hard drive. Okay, that'd be another one. And of course your monitor too, even though it's output rather than input, because you really don't put anything into the monitor, but you do send things out of the monitor. The computer displays things. There you go. But you kind of get the idea. Okay. In the early days of computers, having a peripheral device became a huge problem. Each computer company developed their own keyboards, mice, monitors, you name it. And you couldn't swap a computer keyboard or mouse between computers that were manufactured by two different companies. That just didn't happen. And you also have to keep in mind another thing, okay? In the old days, in the old computer days, with the TRS-80s, they didn't have a hard drive. Oh, no. You had all your floppies, and you had to put this particular floppy in, and that would boot your computer up, and then you had to put the next floppy in, and you put your data in there, and you get the whole idea. It was a royal pain in the butt. Okay. This is why IBM developed computer standards. Okay. They were trying to be proprietary to a point, but they also knew, as they developed all these computers, that if a keyboard broke or a monitor broke, they would have to have some way to exchange that part out without having to take apart the entire computer. So if your computer keyboard malfunctioned, you could just switch out the keyboard and you still keep operational. You didn't have to send your computer to a special repair shop, have them remove the motherboard, put a new motherboard in. You get the yada, yada, yada. This was also the same thing with hard drives, sticks of RAM, you name it. It was quite a mess. So with this standardized architecture, they could build this kind of stuff. And other companies started doing this as well. They would make deals with IBM, and they would build computers, giving some of the profit to IBM for the standardized architecture, and then you could swap out IBM parts for these other computers, because these other computers had a similarity to IBM, similar enough actually, to swap out parts. And we're talking about mice, keyboards, RAM chips, RAM sticks. You're talking about sound card, graphic card, you name it. Okay. So this whole process, the standardizing of our architecture, actually lowered the price of computers significantly. So more people had them in their houses. Yeah. I'd rather have a personal computer from IBM than a TRS-80. I can assure you that. There were other computer items you could attach to these ISA bus slots. As I mentioned, a mouse, RAM sticks, you name it. Okay. Hard drives, you could attach them there too. The ISA bus made it possible for computer CPU to communicate effectively with all of these devices. So who created the ISA bus? The IBM Corporation hired a research team. The leader of this team was Mark Dean. His team created a bus that supported one of the first modern Intel microprocessors. This particular microprocessor was called the Intel 8088. This bus transferred computer instructions at a rate of 8 bits per second. Now, let me give you an idea of how slow this really was. Okay. Before I go on, think about this. 8 bits forms 1 byte. Do you know what 1 byte in a computer is? It's a letter of the alphabet. Okay? Now, You have 8 bits a second. You have 60 seconds. So 8 times, let's see. Let's just do the math here real quick. I'm gonna pull up my calculator here so you guys can see this. Okay. You have 8 bits. You take it times 60, and you can actually have 480 characters transferred from the CPU to you, or from you to the CPU in a single minute. Okay. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Now, you have to keep in mind that that's 480 bits. Okay. Now, let's see. That's 480 bits. It sounds like a lot. It really does, but it's not. Okay. So, you're talking about if you're taking 8 bits a second times about 60 bits, so you're talking about 60 bytes per minute. 60 bytes per minute. Now, if you're a person that types into a computer and you type, say, 35 words a minute, not letters. Okay, this would be 60 letters a minute. Okay, so you get this idea. So you can actually send 60 letters of the alphabet to the CPU in 1 minute. Yeah, try forming them into words. Now remember, you're typing 35 words a minute. Talk about slow. Do the math. It's terrible. Okay? What would happen is you'd be typing and typing and typing and typing, and nothing would be displaying on your screen for a certain period of time until the CPU caught up. Then it would display. Because you're typing at 35 words a minute, and it's only receiving 60 characters, 60 letters, the alphabet, 60 numerical digits a minute. Not a good exchange rate. Now, if you double that, that would be 120 characters. Now you're talking about some faster speed. Then if you're typing only 35 words a minute, you'd be able to see that up on your screen almost immediately. Okay, but when it was 8 bits a second, it was slow. And you have to keep in mind that if you're moving around your mouse or you're having stuff displayed on the screen, yeah, that's slow. Okay. Now, when this was first released, when you were talking about filling in blanks, like you would have these little forms on your computer, and you would ask a person's first name, you type that in, and that's what data entry clerks used to be like. They used to fill that stuff in, and you type in your first name, your last name, and possibly your email, and that kind of stuff. That was fast. But to type a full document, research paper, that takes forever. And if you type faster than 35 words a minute, it really would take forever because the computer was spending all its time trying to catch up to you. Well, Intel immediately worked on doubling that architecture. So they went from 8 bits a second to 16 bits a second. So if you were typing 35 words a minute, you might just be able to display your research paper. You type 60 words a minute, that's a little different story. So Mark Dean and his research team finally developed a 16-bit ISA, which made computers twice as fast, and they developed more advanced Intel CPU architecture. Well, they developed their products to match more advanced Intel CPU architecture. I really should say that correctly. So here they are developing an ISA bus that can actually keep pace with an Intel CPU, advanced Intel CPU. This ISA bus technology permanently changed the motherboard architecture. before ISA buses were created, a simple cord connected to your keyboard and to your motherboard, and same thing with monitors, that kind of stuff. When the ISA bus architecture was developed, special slots were attached to the motherboard. They were interchangeable. That's why it was standardized. Let's say the card that you were using for the keyboard broke. Okay, well, that's no problem. Take the card out. If the slot was bad, you just transferred the card to another slot. If the card itself was bad and not the slot, you just take the card out, put another one in. Boom, there you go. And like I said, if the slot was bad, you just put it, and they'd have like 3 or 4 slots, and there you go. Okay. And the thing is that if an ISA slot malfunctioned, you can still use your keyboard until you can get that particular slot fixed. And that was nice. And again, these ISA slots could be used for computer mice, graphics cards, sound cards, you name it. You could swap them out. No problem. Of course, Intel continued to advance their CPU architecture. This forced a group of companies who were called the Gang of Nine to develop something called an extended industry standard architecture. Well, finally, IBM replaced these ISA bus slots with something called a micro-channel architecture. When they did that, all these other companies that were making computers immediately started advancing themselves and created a more advanced extended industry standard architecture, or what was called an EISA. And they also worked on something called the VL bus. And if you want to research both of those, you are more than welcome to do so. Okay. And from there, computer technology rapidly developed. I cannot tell you how fast within a decade, it was far faster than it ever had been in its life. By the time I graduated from high school, CPU architecture was just way more than advanced. We had VGA monitors. We had keyboards that were much better. We had better mice, better everything. Everything was much, much better. I still had to work with TRS-80 computers, but I did get to work with the Tandy 1000. I can tell you the Tandy 1000 was far more advanced than the TRS-80 by leaps and bounds. Okay. Now, I will cover the PCI bus technology in a future video. So hopefully most of the details in this video were pretty accurate. If I got anything wrong, you can leave it down here in the comments below. I appreciate your feedback on this. I want to thank you guys very much for watching this presentation. I know it was a little lengthy, but I wanted to share all of this with you. And like I said, this is the first of 3 videos. Eventually, you'll see the other 2, and there you go. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Ooh. Oh, I see I'm getting some feedback right now. It's from Dorperman. Hello. Glad to see you. You said 8 bits per second wasn't accurate. The PC bus ran at 4.77 megahertz. Oh, okay. I didn't know that because they were talking about 8 bits a second. I apparently got that wrong. Apparently there is no per second. Well, whatever website I got this from, and I forgot to put the link in there, that's what they said. Apparently I still got it wrong. I guess I'll have to do this all over again. But I will put it up there, and you guys can see it for yourself, and you can find out what's going on, because they were talking about 8 bits, and that's what they were talking about. All right. The keyboard was and still is controlled by the Intel 8042 microcontroller, which is not on the ISA because it performs other important functions like PC speaker muting, reset, and A20. I know that's not true because I actually went to a website, and I'll have to look it up, and I'll have to post it up there in the comments. It's there, and I will show it to you because yeah, let's see if I can pull it up from history. All right, because I'm going to show you. I don't know what's going on here, but this website said that that's the way it worked. That they had a PCI bus for the keyboard, and all right, let's see history. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up some web article here because I studied this. ISA. Okay. 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 I'm gonna go ahead and share these links with you. Let you take a look at them. I'm telling you, I went through several of these. Let's go back. I got 3 of them for you to look at. There you go. You can enjoy those. I will be right back. Okay. So, anyway, I guess once Doberman looks through all this and can explain this a lot better, I will once again do this video and we'll go through this. And I guess I'll have to delete this one until he's insisting that He agrees with me. So apparently this IBM PC they were I don't know why it would say it's 8-bit wide. Okay. Well, then the real question comes down to if they're operating at 4.77 megahertz, where is this 8-bit wide coming from? I mean, obviously I didn't catch that. Somebody needs to start telling me some of this stuff because I didn't know there was a width thing on this. Are you telling me that because if you're talking about 8 bits, okay, 8-bit wide or 16-bit wide, then there's got to be something about that width that causes the transfer rate to be that slow. Because I do remember, and I worked on a TRS-80, and I can tell you what, even with the Tandy 1000, there was a slowness to this computer stuff that disappeared once the 16-bit architecture came out. That is 100% true because I was typing at 35 words a minute, and I can tell you right now, what was being typed by my fingers was not always being displayed on that monitor. And I worked both on an NCR mainframe and on a Tandy 1000 and on a TRS-80. And when you were typing, it didn't display right off the bat. The CPU can send 8 bits at one time. There are 8 wires of data. The TRS-80 was an 8-bit machine. Probably so, because I do remember that just because you were typing it doesn't mean it was automatically being displayed on the screen. It wasn't. And I worked on them. I can tell you right now, they were slow as ducks. They were the NCR dumb terminal thing that was just as slow as the other one. I promise you, they was downright aggravating because you were typing and you had to go back and you had to correct all the mistakes. It was horrible. Okay, so I do know that. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm going to do a bit more research. Try to get my data correct. So basically, I've wasted about 25 to 30 minutes of my time. I'll have to redo the whole damn video. I'm not happy. Okay. Anyway, while you try to correct me on some things, and obviously I didn't know that. But I need a clarification. 8-bit wires? I mean, what are there wire? Because I didn't see on any of those motherboards where there was an actual physical wire connecting a peripheral device to a motherboard. We did on the TRS-80s, we had these horrible wires that plugged directly into the motherboard. And the IBM PCU internally 16-bit, but had an external 8-bit data bus to save money. Okay. So somewhere along the line, because I also worked, the Tandy 1000 was actually kind of similar to an IBM PC. That's where they got this from. They were very similar. And I know that when they finally went into that 16-bit architecture, you could type a lot faster. I know that because I did it. I always loved working on the Tandy 1000, and I hated working on those TRS-80s. And the NCR mainframes were just as bad. They were horrible. I'm not kidding you. If you type 35 words a minute, you were typing much better than that computer could ever keep up. That is not a joke, folks. It really was bad. So, okay. Okay, so I obviously got to research this a little bit more because I'm like, there's some kind of now in the TRS-80s there really was a physical wire, but these ISA slots anyway. obviously we're going to have to dig even deeper. Boy, whew. Good. The copper traces on the motherboards are wires. Same with the connectors on the ISA connectors. Okay. So you're saying basically that when we exchanged out the TRS-80 wires, there was these copper pieces that were put on the motherboard that served the same function as the physical wire that we had to use with the TRS-80. Okay. Well, basically, a motherboard is just a bunch of wires connecting components together. Okay. All right. So basically what you're saying to me is that when the CPU is processing, it's actually sending 8 bits across this copper, and I wouldn't even call it a wire. It was just a copper piece of whatever that was it. It was almost like soldered onto the board, and that was what was getting into the ISA slots, or even with the TRS-80s, it would be a physical wire doing that. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you continue sending me some information here. I really need to get to my next video because I don't want to be up here like halfway to forever. But I'm going to go ahead and let you send me some more information, and I'll do some more research, and I'll remake the video for our next presentation, and hopefully I'll explain things a lot better. All right. So, anyway, as for the next video, technically they are called signals or traces instead of wires, but yeah, the 8-bit wide bus connects to the memory ISA bus BIOS and everything else. Okay. All right, well, that's what Doberman says. Okay, so continue sending me some information. I'm as soon as I do this next video, I'll take a look at whatever else you say, and then we'll get on with this. I will redo the whole video, and we'll try it again. All right, but I want to get to the next video. And while I'm doing that, you can continue sending me information. I'd like to hear from you. Let's go on. All right. Announcement time. I am getting very close to ending my discussion of Math Doesn't Suck. It's almost done. But I think you just saw me reaching for a book. I have ordered the Danica McKellar algebra book. I'm not kidding you. Here it is. It is called Hot X Algebra Exposed. I read the first few pages of this thing. She is going to take us to an amusement park. At least that's what I got out of it. And this ought to be pretty hilarious. So this summer, this is going to be my summer read. I'm going to translate this out for you. And then we will go ahead with this. We're going to have fun with this one. But until then, I want to finish up my review of Math Doesn't Suck, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So, okay. No. Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. Okay. La-ta-dee, la-ta-dee. Ooh-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right. Let's get the notes for Math Doesn't Suck. Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to continue my review of Danica McKellar's book, Math doesn't suck. That's right. We're going to go into the next chapter. And this is how this one's going to go. Danica McKellar starts this chapter with a discussion of two young ladies. Both of these ladies have very different interests. One of these ladies likes unicorns. Since she likes unicorns, we're going to discuss unicorns in just a second. I would imagine this particular lady knew about unicorns, knew a lot about them. So let's go into their history. According to what history is available on these mythical animals, the people of India may have created the unicorn myth. I don't know that for sure, but they may have. There is a great debate about whether the people of India actually created the myth, but I will let you research the debate on your own, because I'm not going to get into it here. There are other sources that state that the unicorn myth could have started with the Chinese, but their version of a unicorn is a little different than what we think a unicorn looks like today. I will let you research that topic again on your own time. A guy by the name of Tisias, I don't know who he is, who was a physician and a historian, recorded the first unicorn stories that we possess today. He met with travelers that came from the country in India and recorded their stories on papyrus parchment. Okay. 1 century later, a mistranslation of biblical text ultimately created the name of the unicorn. Biblical scholars are trying to translate the Old Testament from Hebrew to Greek. They mistranslated the Hebrew word reem, and the Greek word they used was monokeros. You can look that up for yourself. A few centuries later, biblical scholars attempted again to translate the Old Testament from Greek to Latin. When they did, they translated the word monokeros to unicornus. Finally, the word became unicorn. I could discuss Marco Polo's account of what he thought unicorns looked like, but I think you'd rather me continue my review of this book, and specifically this chapter of the book. Let's just go on. The other lady that Danica McKellar mentions has very different interests. This particular young lady is a huge fan of heavy metal music, from what I understand, and invests very heavily in nail polish and nail polish remover. Apparently, black is this young lady's favorite color. I can envision this young lady being a fan of bands like AC/DC, Metallica, and Kiss. Then Danica McKellar forms a proportion out of the only thing that these two young ladies seem to have in common. Both of these young ladies seem to have siblings. Specifically, these young ladies have sisters. If I read this chapter correctly, these young ladies have younger sisters. At this point, you may presume that I will cover the topic of proportions, since this is the main topic of this particular chapter of Danica McKellar's book. But Euclid Book 10 covers the subject of proportions rather extensively, so I will recommend that you watch my Euclid Book 10 videos before you ask me anything about proportions. Eventually, I will publish a book entitled What's Square in a Straight Line. I will let you know when that book finally becomes available. Her discussion of proportions involves a tire that covers the digits of your body. Now, in case you don't know what a digit is, let's talk about the Latin word digitus, which means either finger or toe. Do you now see why Latin etymology is so important to a good education? Then Danica McKellar introduces the word relationship. But what I didn't find in this chapter is a heavy emphasis on family relationships. This could have become a very effective mnemonic device. Instead of emphasizing family relationships, Danica McKellar refers to plant life. Specifically, she refers to trees and flowers. Of course, a couple of paragraphs later, she brings up the word analogy. What is the etymology of the word analogy? I'm glad you asked. This word comes from the Greek prefix ana, which means either up or towards, and the Greek word logos, which can either mean a word or together words or even a ratio. So, knowing the etymology of the word analogy, what is its definition? In this case, It means finding a similarity between two objects that are for all intents and purposes unrelated. The next thing Danica McKellar shares in her book is a personal story. This story involves a camcorder and her first experience in becoming an amateur producer and director. She also discusses her struggles in finding suitable props for her first amateur home video. The story becomes a very effective mnemonic device, but it also serves a second purpose. From this story, fans of Danica McKellar are able to learn a great deal about her personal life. We learn about a dog that she adopted as a teenager. We also learn that she loves fairy tales and superheroes. We also learn the name of her sister and one of her cousins. It's easier to learn from a person that we can relate to on a personal level. In this case, we can follow the logic of Danica McKellar because, after all, giving those details about her personal life gives you an idea of how she thinks. And if you get an idea how she thinks, you can follow along with whatever she's trying to teach. The more you know about a teacher, the more likely you'll be able to follow the teacher's work. So I will give Danica McKellar A+ for this personal story. There is something else that people who read this book can take away from this story. Danica McKellar encourages her audience to be creative, and that is a healthy thing for teenagers to learn. It's truly better to create than to destroy. I will also have to admit that it's far easier to create a video today with modern video equipment than it is with a video cassette recorder in the latter half of the 20th century, hence camcorder. But this story does raise a very important question. How did Danica McKellar budget enough time to create these amateur videos? I mean, she was in school, she was working on set, and she has time to create amateur videos on top of that? Interesting. Okay. The next topic Danica McKellar covers in this chapter of her book is the topic of cross multiplication. This is rather easy. Okay. Let me show you how cross multiplication works. Let's say you have the numbers. Hold on. Two-thirds and 6/9. Now, here's the problem. Okay. Now, if you reduce this fraction, it's going to be 2/3 as well. Okay. So, as 2 is to 3, so as 6 is to 9. And you know this by Euclid Book 10, and I have explained this thoroughly in Euclid Book 10. You can cross multiply this. That's 18. And if you multiply 9 times 2, it's also 18. So this proportion works. That's cross multiplication. Okay. Only when you see the equal sign between two fractions can you use cross multiplication. The only time. And that comes very much in handy if you're trying to make the denominators of fractions equal to each other. Now, that seems pretty easy, don't you think? What if we went a little bit harder, shall we? Yeah. Okay. You have 1/4 equaling x over 16. What's the x? Well, there's only one way to find out. First of all, I wanted to say, and I will say it again when I start reviewing hot x, that a variable is nothing more than a number in disguise. That's all you need to know. That number there is wearing a costume. That's the x costume. There you go. Okay, so if you multiply 16 by 1, you're going to get 16. If you multiply 4x, you're going to get 4x like that. Okay? So all you have to do is divide both these equations by 4. And so x is going to finally equal 4. And you say, well, how does that apply to the original equation? I'm going to show you. You remember how we originally had an x right here? Well, now we replace it with the 4 that we got for our answer. There you go. And as you know, if you reduce this fraction here, it will be this fraction. It's the only way it can go. All right. The next topic Danica McKellar raises in her book is the topic of exercise and proper hydration. She specifically discusses her complexion and how dehydration can affect her complexion. But I wish she would have expanded this discussion in her book. Dehydration can affect more than just your complexion. Oh boy. It can also affect your digestive system. And if it affects your digestive system, your health can go down pretty quickly, I assure you. And if your digestion system goes bad, so does some of the other systems in your body. Trust me, that's how it happens. I personally think that if Danica McKellar had not become a television star, she probably would have joined a track team in high school. She seems to like running, so I bet she could have also joined a college track team and possibly even gone on to the Olympics. But let's return to the topic of proportions. Danica McKellar forms a proportion from the miles she jogs every day to the amount of water she consumes every day. Of course, she also employs cross multiplication to solve her math problem. The next topic Danica McKellar discusses is measurement conversions. And boy, I'm glad she brought this up. If you are studying to become a pharmacy technician, you're going to have to know this really fast, okay? Because medicines can be converted from like pounds to other measurements from the metric system. And when that happens, you have that in a proportion, woo! It can be messy pretty quick. And I will explain this more thoroughly in a book that I will eventually publish called PTCB on a Budget. And you'll see this for yourself. So conversions are very important. So she was explaining converting the miles that she runs into kilometers. Yeah. They've really wanted us on the metric system for a long time, and so there you go. And what is the first thing that a teenager actually does when they have jogged several miles? Well, of course, they're going to reach for a snack of some kind. And of course, they're going to rehydrate themselves first, and they'll reach for some kind of a snack because they're going to be hungry at that point. So, in this case, Danica McKellar starts a discussion of pastries. All right. And she admits that she scours the internet for recipes, and she apparently found one. So she takes a mixed fraction and converts it into an improper fraction. Well, you can do that. Or that would be more like taking the long way home. Convert those fractions to decimals, solve it, and if you want to convert it back to a fraction after that, go ahead. But solve it as a decimal. It's a lot easier. Give me a break. All right. The last topic Danica McKellar places in this chapter of her book is gift giving. Apparently, she had purchased a piece of jewelry for one of her friends and was going to give it to her. But before she bought this piece of jewelry, she had to know the measurement of the mesh of the ring. Now, for those of us who don't know anything about a mesh of a ring, let me tell you something. The translation of that is the width of the ring. Okay, if you have a ring that you wear on your finger, there's going to be a width to the dang thing, and that's called the mesh. So now you know. This measurement can be expressed in centimeters, millimeters, inches. Take your pick. So it depends on who you're buying this from. If you're buying it from the United States, it'd probably be in inches. If you're buying it from some European country, it could be in centimeters, millimeters, you name it, whatever. It literally could be in the metric system. All right. So anyway, that's all she discussed in her book. I know she did give some practice problems. I know the last time I went through them, I was like, man, I'm not going to do this. So anyway, that's it. All right. As I have told you guys, and I'm going to tell you this again, I wanted to let you know that I have a summer reading project. Oh, yes. As you well know, I have almost finished my review of Danica McKellar's Math Doesn't Suck book. So, I wanted to go on, and I have decided to do that. This time, I'm going to review Danica McKellar's book called Hot X Algebra Exposed. And I will tell you what's in this book. Well, I guess I will tell you really more like what I think about what's in this book would be far more accurate. I'm not going to just tell you what's in it. I'm going to tell you what I actually think of what's in it. That's what a review is. I'm going to review it in the same type of detail as I have done with these Math Doesn't Suck books. That Math Doesn't Suck book. One book, sorry. So I hope you guys will tune into that. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. All right. Okay, Doberman is really replying to me. I'm thrilled about this. The history of unicorns is very interesting. The reason that the 1611 AV renders Reem as unicorn is because they didn't know what to translate it as, so they transliterated the Vulgate. The Reem is an oryx, I guess. The Reem is an oryx. If you look at the oryx at the right angle, they have only one horn. Thank you for that valuable information. All right. Now, you guys are getting a treat. You guys are getting a real treat tonight because we're done with the hard stuff tonight. Well, let me correct that. Let's just say that I'm not done with the hard stuff because I got to re-research that ISA bus and produce an even better video. But here it goes. We're going to talk about some fun stuff. Oh, yeah. All right. Here we go. Let's see here. Let's go ahead here. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Ray Stevens, and that's because you uploaded a music video entitled Southern Air. And I know let's try that again. That just didn't sound right. This video response is going to go out to Ray Stevens, and that is because you sang a song a long time ago, which they have now finally, well, these YouTubers, okay, some of these YouTubers have actually put up some kind of a thumbnail type thing and have actually placed your song on YouTube so everybody can hear it, okay? This particular song is called Southern Air. I am sorry that you were not able to produce an actual music video to this because Jerry Clover and Minnie Pearl have now passed away. If you could find suitable replacements to perform this or make it into a movie, I would love to see you do this. Anyway, I have listened to the song for many years, and it's a really good song, and I will explain that in a little bit. But I'm going to ask you some questions about this song, okay? I wish I could do it with a music video, but you just didn't really have a chance to do that. I'm sorry you didn't. But anyway, maybe if they could pull up some old footage of you doing this, that'd be great. But anyway, let's go into this. How did the maintenance people paint so many numbers on the back of the airplane? Did they hyphenate the numbers and have 2 lines of numbers on this airplane, which would have been interesting? I couldn't find a Hey Hayward, Georgia on any Google map, but I did find a Hayward, Georgia. So I will assume for this particular video that Hayward, Georgia is your departure point. I couldn't find any airport in Hayward, Georgia, but I did find an airport nearby. It's called the DeKalb Peachtree Airport. So I'm presuming that's the airport you were referring to in your song. That airport happens to be near not only Hayward, Georgia, but Atlanta, Georgia. I did, however, find Yazoo City, Mississippi. So I'm presuming that your destination is the Yazoo County Airport. So what is a Ledbetter? Well, this is a guy who composes music and is good at guitar playing. But did the duck have a ticket? You never answered that in the song. All right. Now, Jerry Clover gets on the intercom, and we're having to ask here, what was on the runway? We'd like to know. Now, we find out later what's on the runway of your destination, but we don't find out what's on the runway of your departure point. I'd like to know that. There was a rack in the cockpit. We'd like to know 2 things. One, what kind of material was this rack made out of? I would assume it'd be some kind of a wood, but I would need to know specifically what kind. And also, what specific items were on the rack? Now, I know you went into a generalized term, but I would like to be more specific. Okay, so if you could be more specific, that'd be great. What articles did people read in the magazines? That'd be interesting. What other bumper stickers were attached to the wings of the airplane? Why did the duck faint? Stone Mountain is northeast of Atlanta, Georgia. It does look very breathtaking. If you guys ever take a look at that, that'd be great for you to take a look at and research. Go ahead. The next thing that the airplane passed and actually flew over is Enterprise, Alabama. For those of you who do not know, Enterprise, Alabama is southwest of Hayward, Georgia. Now, keep in mind that if we're going by Hayward, Georgia, and the plane is going northwest to Stone Mountain, then it has to turn back around and come down to Enterprise, Alabama. That's quite a trip. I mean, talk about the fuel that's being used here, okay? And I'm sure this was not an ecologically friendly airplane we're talking about here. Yeah, this is not economics at all. So there you go. So like I said, this plane left this airport near Atlanta, Georgia, went up and around Stone Mountain and came back down to Enterprise, Alabama. That should tell you something about the airplane. All right, now, why was Enterprise, Alabama mentioned? Well, because in Enterprise, Alabama, they have a statue, and it was erected to honor boll weevils. Apparently, in the early part of the 20th century, boll weevils had a significant impact on agriculture in Enterprise, Alabama, and they honored these boll weevils with a statue. So if you want to look that up, that'd be great. It's kind of a humorous story, but we'll go into that later. Now, there is a reference to a no chewing sign. I was aware that chewing tobacco could be harmful to your fellow passengers or to the airplane itself. But the best question here is, where are the spittoons? This plane's got to have spittoons for this. Now, we have to do a little more research. Have you ever heard of a knee-high soda? Well, a knee-high soda pop is commonly served in the southern United States. The soda pop was created in 1924 in Georgia. It was invented by a man named Claude Hatcher. Today, this brand of soda is manufactured by the Dr. Pepper Corporation. Now, I could go into an extensive discussion about moon pies, but I'm just going to basically say they have a graham cracker fudge exterior and a marshmallow interior. So if you ever get a moon pie, that's what you're getting. Now, does anybody here have a good butter bean recipe that you would like to share with this particular audience? If you do, leave it down here in the comments below. I'd love to hear your recipes. Okay. How did you guys anchor the movie projector in this airplane? And why was the movie skipping? Would they have turbulence in the sky? And there's a freezer on this airplane? I wonder how you anchored that baby down. And how is the airplane crew maintaining the power of the freezer? Where was the pecan pie stored on this airplane? Had to be stored somewhere. What was it, picnic basket? And does anybody here have a good sweet potato recipe? That'd be great for you. If you want to leave that right down here in the comments below, I'd love to hear that too. Okay. How did the pilot attach the mud gripping tires to the airplane? And was the airplane door open the entire time the airplane was in the air? Why didn't everything on the airplane fly out of the airplane? Why are there cows on the runway? This is one of the most hilarious songs I've ever heard. It was the instruments in the background were well played. You just laugh the entire time because when you hear more and more of these details, they are hilarious. One of the best song and one of the best parody songs I've ever heard in my life. Ray Stevens is quite an expert on this. I wish there had been a music video, and maybe one day Ray Stevens will actually make a music video, or maybe somebody will actually do a theatrical performance of this. Whatever. This would be funny. This is the kind of movie I would like to see in my movie theater. This would be absolutely hilarious. Really, it would. So, I'm going to give this song a very high A+ for being such a great parody song. All right. If you are not, well, first of all, if you are Ray Stevens and you're watching this right now, feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. If you're not Ray Stevens and you're watching this right now, feel free to go over to Ray Stevens' YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! All right. Where do you know Holding from? Well, that's kind of interesting. There was a guy that I actually replied to, and I wish I could think of his handle right now because it was a long time ago. I have him on my Facebook page now. We haven't talked in a long time though. But anyway, he had made a video response to JP Holding, and I was trying to kind of bring down a debate. In other words, I was trying to make them friends. It didn't work out the way I'd hoped, but I will tell you that JP Holding has become a great friend of mine, and he is going to edit my next book. He's actually edited a couple of my books already, and he's going to edit my next one. I'm going to pay him, and he's going to edit my next book, and it's going to be great. And you'll learn a lot from that next book. So will everybody. So it's something to look forward to. That's how I know who Mr. Holding is. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to these reviews because I'd really like to get through this tonight. This would be kind of fun. Before I do, though, I wanted to ask Doberman and anybody else that watched this Ray Stevens Southern Air, and I hope you guys do. I will leave a link to that particular song in the description box of my video. So I really would like to know what you thought, not only of the song, but of my review of it. Really like to hear that. Anyway, let's go on here. Whew. I bet you never expected to hear a song like that. This video response is going to go out to Bebe Rexa, and that is because you uploaded a music video entitled Meant to Be. And before I go into this, I wanted to let you know that I have published 5 Kindle books, and if anybody wants to read my Kindle books, just leave me a comment in the comments below, and I will go ahead and send you a link to my latest Kindle book, and you can read it, and then you can read the others at the same time. All right, now, I watched the whole music video, and I listened to the song very carefully, read through all the lyrics, and I have a lot of questions about this. So, let's see if you guys can answer these questions. I will start with my discussion of the music video first, before I go into the song itself. Why is such a beautiful lady walking along such a deserted section of road? Did her car break down? And how did she walk along such a stretch of road without ever being noticed by anybody? Now, whether anybody pulled over for her or not is not the issue here. She's acting as if nobody even stopped. I would have probably stopped. I don't know if I would have done anything more than that, but I would have stopped and seen if everything was all right. All right. Now, let's take a look at her hair color. Is that her real hair color? I seriously doubt it. In Illinois, it is illegal to hitchhike or prop your feet on the dash of a car or to ride in the back of a pickup truck without wearing a seatbelt. All 3 activities are illegal in Illinois. I don't know what they are like where you're at, but they're illegal here. None of these activities should be promoted in a music video based on that. And I know that we're not the only state that makes all those activities illegal. So, no need to go nowhere fast. Boy, talk about bad grammar. So we should teach young adults bad grammar. I know that's country slang, but we really shouldn't be teaching young adults that kind of bad grammar. It sounds creative for a country western song, but please, that's bad grammar. This young lady is wearing glitter boots, and she still has to hold her thumb up to hitch a ride? Really? And check out the brand new pickup truck. Oh, yes. On a deserted stretch of road like that, you're going to find a brand new pickup truck. I don't think so. Most of those trucks would be old and decrepit. And if you did find one that was a brand new pickup truck, you think that guy is going to look at her and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to pick her up? No, more than likely, he's just going to drive by and not even pay attention. Okay. So, and the thing is, anybody that owns a pickup truck like that would automatically know, especially in Illinois, that it's illegal for hitchhiking. They probably would not pick up this young lady at all. Unless, of course, the person driving the pickup truck may have actually stolen the pickup truck, in which case she's in a lot more trouble than she can even imagine. But anyway. And the guy driving the pickup truck didn't check out the trash bag before granting this young lady an opportunity to go with him. Who knows what she's got in that garbage bag? Really? I'd be checking that out because you don't know what's in there. It could be anything. It could be benign. It could also be very malignant. Get the idea? Okay, and finally, these people, this young lady finally ends up at a motel. Well, she better have enough money to pay for that motel bill because I ain't paying for it. Now let me get this straight. She's a waitress at a restaurant, and she has glitter boots, a brand new wristwatch, all kinds of other neat stuff. She's got some of the best fancy clothes I've ever seen, and she cannot afford an inexpensive car? Not even a clunker? Really? I'm not buying it. All right, let's go through the lyrics. According to the lyrics, the guy driving the vehicle has lots of leisure time? That guy must be rich. If he's that rich, he should have been getting himself a spouse and not worried about some hitchhiker in the middle of nowhere. He might have stopped by to see if she was okay, maybe make a phone call, but no, picking her up, I don't think so. Maybe back in the 70s, but not today. What? This gal doesn't even have a smartphone? Almost everybody has a smartphone. Really? Okay. What does this guy know about this lady that is accompanying him? Does he ever verify the story she might have told him? And the chorus of this song is very boring. I can tell you that. Skip that. Now, what did these guys do to you that you thought wasn't okay? Okay, that'd be a question I'd ask the gal. And let's be honest. I will grant you that there are guys out there that definitely mistreat ladies. I've heard this story a million times. It's something that you find in a million songs. I guarantee you. You look through some of the song lyrics, you find out just how bad some guys really treat their ladies. And I give you that, and I grant you that. But to stand there and think that this gal is just some sweet, innocent lady, she might be, granted. But is that just an automatic certainty? I don't buy it. I can tell you what, I have met some ladies in my lifetime. Some were sweet as angels. You'd love to get to know them. You'd love to spend your life with them. But not all of them are like that. If they all were, why would we ever have women's prisons? You think Bonnie of Bonnie and Clyde was a sweet, loving lady? Really? You think Clyde was the one committing all the crimes and she just kind of rode along for the ride? Please. I know better than that. So don't tell me that every lady that walks around the road like that is just some sweet little angel that was just totally misunderstood. Yeah, I'd be checking up on this lady to see what her story is first. Then we could say whether she was sweet or not. Yeah, beware. Not all ladies are nice. Most of them are. Not everybody. So, and I've already given you proof of that. I guarantee you go through enough Reader's Digest stories, you'll find at least a few of them that weren't quite so nice. So you got to be careful because you underestimate some of these ladies, it could be detrimental to your health. So not everybody's a little Miss Innocent, I can tell you that. Okay, and what does this lady consider as fake love? Now that I've asked all these questions, I'll tell you what I think of this song. The first part of the song is not terribly bad. It's nothing to get really excited about, but it's not really all that bad. But once you get past the main lyrics and you go into whatever's left, it's just a massive repeat of the chorus. Talk about dull and boring. What do these people do? I guarantee you they're not trying to sing to these people. They're trying to more like hypnotize them. That's the impression I get. You're trying to hypnotize your audience. Well, they love this lyric because we're hypnotizing them, so they'd be forced to love this lyric. We entice them in with the first part of the song that gives a little bit of a backstory, and then we just hypnotize them the rest of the way. Right. The song is terrible. And so I give the first part of the song about a C for at least a little backstory. But the rest of the song is nothing but some hypnotic chant. That gets an F- right off the bat. You don't try to hypnotize your audience. Make them feel good. There are dozens of songs out there that do kind of similar things, but they're not trying to hypnotize their audience. They're just trying to make them feel good. So like I said, I give the first part of the song about a C for at least having something in the line of a backstory. And the rest of the song is a total piece of trash. All right. If you are Bebe Rexha and you decide you want to answer all these questions, you are more than welcome to do so in the comments below. And if you are not Bebe Rexha and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Bebe Rexha's YouTube channel, watch her videos, rate her videos, comment on her videos, subscribe to her channel if you'd like. And more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! What'd you think of that? I love giving reviews like that. That's so fun. Anyway, I got another treat for you guys. I don't have a lot of streaming services. I really don't. I just don't have that kind of money. But I do have Peacock. That's right. I do have Peacock, and because of that, it's provided free with my cable company because I'm getting, I'm only paying $90. Well, and I forgot to tell you about. Well, no, I did tell you about the fact that they're getting rid of all the cable boxes. So make sure that you're on a streaming service now because those cable boxes are going to disappear. But I pay roughly about somewhere between $90 and $100 a month for my internet, so I can have it. I'm glad I canceled out all the other cable. That was getting shoot. I was getting to the point where I was paying a lot more than $100. I can tell you that it was a lot more, and I'm kind of glad it's all gone. Didn't have time to watch it anyway, so why bother? But anyway, I do have Peacock, and I have been watching the brand new Night Court, and I have decided tonight to review the very first episode. I'm going to review these episodes. So here we go. After this is done with, after this is done with, then I will review a few nonchalant videos, and we'll be done for tonight. Okay, here we go. Good evening, everybody. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to review the first episode of the brand new Night Court. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. John Larroquette has come back to reprise his role of Dan Fielding, and we have a new judge in the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to review the very first episode. As you can see, I've got a bunch of notes right here. But before I do, I wanted to let you guys know that I have 5 Kindle books. And if you are interested in purchasing any of them, feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. And I will send you a link to my most recent book. And then you can read it and you can read the others at the same time. All right. Enough said. Woo! Okay. The pilot of the new Night Court. If you are watching this video right now, turn on the new Night Court, the first episode, and follow along with me with all these questions, and let's see if you guys can answer them. All right. Now, first of all, Abby Stone just walks up to complete strangers and just talks to them. I know she has a personality, and you see this through the episode, but she is a lot like what Christine Sullivan was in the original show. But just walking up to a complete stranger, just talking to them, yeah. Especially when they're standing in line like that, yeah. Now, why did the guy that she was talking to remove all of his bling before he ever showed up at the courthouse? Okay, and Doberman says 940 megabits symmetrical. Okay, not sure what you mean by that, but we'll get into that. For those of you who don't know, I'm running a live stream right now, and I just got another message from Doberman. I'm sorry you guys missed the live stream when we were doing this. You know what? I'm going to stop this video right here. We're going to do this all over again. That's terrible. Okay. Let's do this again. Woo. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to review the Okay. So Doberman was saying that I should look at the previous message about the Oryx. No, that would be right. Oh, you're talking about the 8-bit wide bus. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Apparently it's 940 megabits symmetrical. Okay. Whew. Anyway, we're going to try this one more time. Good evening, everyone. It is once again Ted the Speed Learner, and tonight I'm going to actually review the very first episode of the brand new Night Court. Okay. Yes, I do have a subscription to Peacock, and I was able to see it, and so therefore I'm going to go ahead and review it. All righty. Now, what I want you guys to do right now is to turn on the brand new Night Court, very first episode, and then I will go ahead and ask these questions. And while you're watching that episode, you can actually compare to what I'm asking in line of questions, and maybe you can answer them. All right. First question. Abby Stone talks to complete strangers. Okay. Why? I mean, I know she has the personality of Christine Sullivan, but really just walking up to a complete stranger and asking them questions? You're right. Why didn't the guy remove all of his bling before entering the court building? Give me a break. He knew he was going to walk in there. He knew there was a metal detector. Why not remove his bling before he walked in there? And you might wonder why, how. You have to wonder how he got all that bling in the first place. It's nice to see that Dan Fielding hasn't changed very much. That I like. Okay. All right, the next thing I have to ask, if that wasn't a nose ring, what was it? I'd like to know. The new bailiff can't pronounce Abby Stone's name. Really? She gets that 10? She can't pronounce it? Really? The public defender fell through a glass ceiling. I'd like to know what happened that caused him to fall through a glass ceiling. That I would like to know. The public defender didn't see the sign. Really? He's a public defender. He should have known all the evidence of the prosecution before the case ever took place. And this public defender can't take criticism? Really? Uh-huh. And what is Abby eating in this episode? And Harry Stone didn't take all of his stuff with him when he retired? Really? Not even the armadillo? And Dan Fielding didn't immediately recognize Abby Stone. Right. And Dan Fielding thought that Abby was selling Girl Scout cookies. Why? She didn't even have any in her hands. If Harry and Dan fell out of communication, how in the heck did Abby have Dan's address? That doesn't make any sense. And what happened to Dan's wife, Sarah? That's never explained. How did Abby become a judge? That, again, is not explained. And remember, in the first episode of the original Night Court, Harry explained how he became a judge. She never explains this. Why did Dan retire? Never explained. Who in the heck is Sally? That's, again, never explained. And what happened to the cafeteria? Man, it looks like 100% different. It was a nice twist to see Dan suddenly becoming a public defender. That was interesting. But anyway. All right. If anybody knows the answers to any of these questions, leave them down here in the comments below. I hope you guys got a chance to check out the new Night Court. From what I've seen so far, I'm not really all that impressed. I mean, some things are nice, but it's really not the same Night Court that I watched when I was a kid. It really is. There are some similarities, but it's really not all that same. All right. So if you guys want to try to answer those questions, whatever, please leave the comments below. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Oh, the message may not have gone through. It doesn't really matter. That's what Doberman said. I hope I didn't lose him. Anyway, we have a couple more videos to review, and then I can go into this. And Then we'll be done for tonight. I didn't think it would take this long, but apparently we're going to go through this anyway. All right, just a few more videos and we're done. This video response is going to go out to Survival on a Budget Made Easy, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled Auto Heater Defroster of Harbor Freight Product Review. I watched your entire video and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video, but before I do, I wanted to let everybody know that I have actually published 5 Kindle books. If you guys are interested, leave a comment down here in the comments below, and I will share a link with you, and then you can click that and you can start looking at my books. In the meantime, Survival on a Budget Made Easy. Can you tell my audience a little more about the company called Road Shock? Why would an automobile heater need light bulbs? How much heat does this actually produce in therms? I'd like to know. How noisy are the heater fans? How does this product generate heat? How long did it take you to mount this device onto your car? How much energy does this device consume? How durable is this device? And how many of these devices would you need to heat up your entire car? Please leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Survival on a Budget Made Easy and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Survival on a Budget Made Easy's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. All right. This video response is going to go out to Where the Heck Are the All-Bands? And that's because you uploaded a video entitled Hawaii USS Arizona Memorial Pearl Harbor. I watched your video and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. Now, in this particular case, I wanted to let you know that I have published 5 Kindle books. And if anybody's interested in any of them, let me know and I'll leave you a link down below. You guys can check that out. Let's go on. All righty. The questions are, what aquatic life did you see after you boarded the boat? Do you know how long it took the people who created this memorial to inscribe all those names on that wall? How windy was it when you visited the USS Arizona? Now, I was interested in the reasoning behind why these people didn't remove all the oil out of the Arizona long before now. That's oil. They could use it. Why wasn't it removed? Okay, what was the most unique item you found in the gift shop? Did you see any active volcanoes while you stayed in Hawaii? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Where the Heck Are the All-Bands, or you're watching this right now, feel free to go over to Where the Heck Are the All-Bands YouTube channel, watch their videos, rate their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to their channel if you'd like. And more importantly, tell them that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, now the next thing I wanted to say, and I know it's at the end of the video, is that I had sent you guys some instructions, it was a while back, on these Route 66 signs between Romeoville and Berwyn. I would love to see you guys actually try to find them all and show me a pretty safe route where I don't have to go flying across the I-80 to try to get to these signs. That would be really nice. Hopefully you'll do that for me. I look forward to it. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. This video response is going to go out to Roman King, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled Mountain Shadow Monotones, Heart of My Heart, Let Me Call You Sweetheart. I watched your entire video, and I had a few questions about your video, but before I give you those questions, I wanted to let everybody know that I have published 5 Kindle books. If anybody's interested, let me know in the comments below, and I will send you a link to those books. All right. Who were the other guys performing with you? Where were you performing at? Are you singing the song Story of the Rose, which was written by Andrew Mack? If so, then I've probably got the song that you are singing. If this indeed is a song you're singing, and I'm almost certain it is, then here are my questions about the lyrics. It says, life would be naught without you. Why would it be naught? What makes this lady unforgettable? Why would this guy doubt that his gal would stay with him forever? In the next song, why would this guy want to call this gal sweetheart? Why should she whisper that she loves the guy too? Why can't she just shout it out to all the world? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Roman King and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Roman King's YouTube channel, watch his videos, rate his videos, comment on his videos, subscribe to his channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell him that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! All right. Two more videos and we're done. This video response is going to go out to the beautiful Golden Hour, and that's because you uploaded a video entitled My Kitty Cat Princess at the Vet. I watched your entire video. I had some questions about your video, but before I get into them, I wanted to let everybody know that I have published 5 Kindle books, and if anybody's interested, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you a link to one of the Kindle books, and you can go ahead and check those out. All right. Let's get into this. How old is Princess? Why does she have to go to the vet? How long did you have to wait before you could see the vet? Is Princess feeling any better after going to the vet? What is Princess's favorite toy? Feel free to leave the answers to any and all these questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be the beautiful Golden Hour and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to the beautiful Golden Hour's YouTube channel, watch her videos, comment on her videos, rate her videos, subscribe to her channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Okay. Woo! This video response is going to go out to Valerie Reese, and that is because you uploaded a video entitled Chicken Parmesan with Fettuccine February collab. I watched your entire video and I decided to ask you a few questions about your video. But before I do, I wanted to let everybody know that I have published Kindle books. And if you guys are interested in any of these Kindle books, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will see you a link to one of the Kindle books so you can check all those out. All right, so what are the questions? Well, where did you obtain the frogs on the swings? They were cute as a button. How large is your garden? How long did it take you to can your tomatoes? Why didn't you buy a mallet? Do you know why this particular seasoning is called Uncle Steve's? Overall, this meal looks absolutely delicious. I look forward to your next video presentation. In the meantime, you can leave the answers to any of those questions down here in the comments below. And if you happen not to be Valerie Reese and you're watching this video right now, feel free to go over to Valerie Reese's YouTube channel, watch her videos, rate her videos, comment on her videos, subscribe to her channel if you'd like, and more importantly, tell her that the Speed Learner sent you. All right, I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned. Woo! Okay, that's the end of the live stream right there, or at least the end of the videos. I've recorded them all. I'll have to redo the ISA bus apparently and do some heavier research. Okay, so what'd you guys think? I would like to tell you guys and remind you again that I will be doing this for summer reading. And if you guys are actually interested in me going on Patreon and putting up some special videos, that have nothing to do with the mainstream YouTube channel. That was actually the intent of my Speed Learner Plus YouTube channel originally, was I was going to put extra videos up there that I was going to have you guys pay per view. It just didn't happen. But now we're getting another opportunity. So let me know if you're interested in any of that. I want to thank you guys very much for helping me celebrate my birthday. It was nice celebrating with all of you. Whew. I want to thank you guys very much for sticking with me, watching this whole thing all the way through. Hope you learned a bunch. All right. I will tell you more in a future video, so I'd like for you to stay tuned.